Hey everybody, how's it going? Constantine III here, and welcome to the first of many videos in this series all about the art of dueling. Specifically in this first episode, we're going to be focusing on Zed. Zed can be a very tricky opponent for many Vayne players to fight against. Feeling almost impossible to beat in a 1v1, Zed seems to appear out of nowhere, absolutely one-shot you with no counterplay whatsoever, and leave you in the dust. But this, my friends, is going to be a guide that will teach you how to not lose to Zed 1v1. There is a tactic that you can use against most low to mid elo Zed mains that will always beat them when you're playing as Vayne, if executed correctly. Now, before we talk about this tactic, we need to talk about a few things about Zed's kit, so we're on the same page, we understand what exactly this guy does, and how to use that to our advantage. I'm going to emphasize basics here. We're not going to be going into, how to play the character or anything, you just need to know how to react to what he does. So, first off, Zed has his Q, where he throws a razor blade at you. It does a certain amount of damage. He has his W, where he makes a duplicate shadow that he can switch places with. He has his E, where both he and his duplicate shadow spin around and deal damage. And his ultimate teleports him to you, puts him behind you, and then all damage you take after the shadow hits you makes that little pop at the end deal more damage. So that's how his standard combo is. He ults you, he uses Q, then E, you get hit by both the Q and E on him and his Shadow Slash. That does a bunch of damage. Then he auto-attacks you when you are low, which does a lot more damage because of his passive, and the little thing pops and you die. That's what his game plan is, basically. So here's how you counter it. It's really quite simple if you think about it. All of Zed's damage comes from the fact that his death mark pops at the very end of his big burst combo. So if we could buy an item that would take off that debuff, then he'd be easy to 1v1. Except Riot nerfed that. So we gotta get a little bit more creative here, boys. Now we don't have QSS to carry us through this process. If you guys didn't know, you used to be able to buy Quicksilver Sash against Zed. You could purify his death mark and it wouldn't hit you, which made it a lot easier to kill him, but sadly that isn't an option, so here's how you 1v1 him without needing Quicksilver Sash. Number one, let's think about his kit again. All of his damage comes from his abilities. Whenever Zed ults you and he kills you, the reason why he kills you is because he hits you with 2 Razor Shurikens and 2 of his little Shadow Slash things or whatever. That does a tremendous amount of damage. But if you can't be hit by those, well then you're going to be much harder for him to kill. Nigh impossible, actually. Without his Q and his E, Zed actually does terrible damage. So how do we avoid his Q and his E? Well, let's watch the clip and find out. As per usual, just going to play it through with just the enemy perspective, and then we're going to break down what happened and why I did what I did afterward. Okay, so what happened there? Why was I able to do what I did? So first off, throughout the entire team fight, and just as a background, Zed has 12 kills here and I have 17. This 1v1 is just the battle of the titans here. Whoever wins that little exchange we had in the middle of that team fight is going to determine who wins the game. So, now let's focus on what happens right here. So first off, I see Zed is approaching me, and I know for a fact, he is very much so well aware that if he kills me, he can just clean up the entire rest of the team, no problem whatsoever. So, I know this. Throughout this entire team fight, I was very smart, and I chose to save both my ultimate and my Ghost Blade. That's very important. Keep that in mind. So, I'm going to slow it down a lot. Now, notice I pop my ult when I see Zed is walking towards me, and I activate Ghost Blade. When I see Zed appear, like when I see these 3 shadows converging like this, I instantly stealth tumble. Now, it's very important to understand where I stealth tumble. Zed has a shadow spawning here. That spawns wherever his final shadow is. This is his W shadow. This is his ultimate shadow. He has 2 shadows. All of these shadows mimic his abilities. His Shadow Slash and his Q. So if I get hit by this Shadow Slash and this Q, Razor Blades, I will die. So what do? I activate this final hour to go invisible. So now Zed can't see where I go. And what I did was, I chose to tumble over here by Ash's dead body. Now, why did I go there? Because when I position here, Number one, I am behind him. Most Vaynes would panic and they would tumble back toward their team. So he's expecting me to pop up somewhere over here. But I played some mind games, and again, most Zeds are very, very predictable. Everyone is going to try to tumble, back toward their team, right? Back towards safety. My base is over here. Most people would reactively go, oh shit, and they would tumble this way. But what I do instead is I fake him out. I tumble this way, and he is not expecting this. And I can get out of range of these two shadows extremely quickly because I have the extra movement stage from Youmuu's and my final hour. Also, a brief side note here after watching this a couple of times. I didn't execute this quite perfectly. You do want to wait at least a teeny bit after he ults, because as you can see, Zed kind of follows where I go invisibly. If you can wait just like half a second, maybe even less longer than I did before you pull off this trick, it'll be even more effective. As you can see, it still worked. It's not 100% perfectly executed. So he pops up, and all of a sudden, he has no idea where I am, right? He's like, wait, where did she go? And then all of a sudden, I'm right behind him. He's expecting me to be over here, but I pop up right here. So he's running this way because, again, he's just like, wait, what the fuck just happened? And all of a sudden, he realizes, oh, she's behind me, but it's already way too late, and I kill him in 3 hits because I get super lucky crits. But it wouldn't have even mattered even if he did hit me there because, again, I just totally repositioned out of him. So that's how you play. That's really, beating Zed is as easy as it looks right there. All you have to do is just save your ult and your Ghostblade / Borg for when he ults you. The minute he jumps on you, just stealth tumble in unpredictable direction away from his shadows. Wait till you're out of range of his shadows, start auto-attacking him, and you'll kill him every time. It's honestly that simple. It's really, really easy. You guys can do this too. I hope you guys found this video helpful. Sorry I didn't have a more 1v1-ish clip, more impressive clip. Zed is auto-banned in rank, so the only time I could find a Zed to duel was on this fresh account. But as you can see, he was super fed, so it's a pretty indicative example. I'd say this Zed is like silver level, mid-silver, high bronze level. So, I mean, sorry guys, this is the best that I can do. But I hope you found it helpful nonetheless. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. Make sure to like and sub. Take it easy, and have a good one.